Welcome in this in-house training session. Today, I am Sutapa Viswas and I am going to explain Constructivism, its meaning, its characteristics and uses. So first of all, we are all teachers. We and our students are the two components of teaching learning process. Therefore, we must know about the learning theories. There are 5 learning theories. First is behaviorism, which is based on stimulus and responses. Second one is cognitivism, which is based on flow of knowledge. Third is constructivism, which is based on mental models. The fourth one is experientialism, which is based on learning experiences. Fifth one is social, which is based on learning with others and learning from others. Next slide. Although it is assumed that thoughts and emotions, they are independent. But the truth is that feelings are based on same level of thought and thoughts generated from some level of feeling. Through critical thinking and self-awareness, one can understand the relationship between thought and emotions. We are teachers, we teach our students. Although we do our best, try to do our best, then also we will not get the result 100% as our expectation. The performance is not as our expectation. So what is the reasons? Next slide. This is the slide where we can see that why students face problems in learning. There are many problems in learning. If the topic is not introduced in appropriate way, the concept will not be clear to the students. Next one is students' present education system more focus on formula, calculations and lot of memorization. And that's why the students also memorize the concept, memorize the lesson rather understanding that. And that's why they to pass only in the examination and to get marks in the examination. So the concept is not clear to them. Next one, the teachers get only 40 to 45 minutes to interact with the students and they have to complete the syllabus. They are in hurry. So all the queries are not answered by the students during learning. That's why during learning, students cannot clear their concept. More than the students, due to lack of practice, due to lack of previous knowledge, they cannot understand the concept clearly. That's why they cannot also understand the lesson properly. So, as a teacher, we must think, what am I teaching? And who am I teaching? How will I teach? And how will I know if the student understand or not? These are some questions should be arise in the brain of the teacher so that they can understand the learner. The next slide will be the answer of all these questions. Let's see the next slide. It is a learning pyramid. Here we can see the learning pyramid is divided into 2 parts. 2 colored also it is denoted. The first part is passive teaching method and the second part is participatory teaching method. In first part we can see that the students are the passive component of the teaching learning method. They can learn, they are the passive learner, or they cannot direct participate in the teaching learning process. Here student only can understand by lecture method only 5% of what we have taught to them, and by reading they can understand only 10% when they read the lesson, and through the when we teach them through audio visual aid, they can learn only 20% what we teach them, and when we demonstrate them and teach them, they will learn only 30% of the lesson. And the second part is participatory teaching method. Here the learner is active participant in teaching learning process. Here they can understand through group discussion, through practice by doing, that means through experiments, and through teaching others. We can, and by teaching others, but suppose they can teach their siblings, they can teach their peers, so they can understand 90% of it. So above all, there has to be a relationship of trust. Teaching for creativity aims to enable young people to be more effective in handling future problems and objectives, to deepen and broaden awareness of the self as well as the world, and to encourage openness and reflexivity as creative. Therefore, we can conclude that learning becomes meaningful when students are actively engaged in the construction of knowledge. The other word for construction of knowledge is constructivism. This is the topic of this training session. And here are some definitions of constructivism. Constructivism is how knowledge constructed by learners who are involved in active learning. Second one is students use their previous knowledge known as schema. Whatever the student acquire the knowledge, suppose I am the class teacher of 6 and the student whatever they learn from nursery to class, even from birth to class 5, it is the previous knowledge, and the previous knowledge is known as schema. To construct, they use the previous knowledge to construct new knowledge based on their experience. Thus, constructivists assume that the learner constructs his or her knowledge on the basis of interaction with the environment. This environment may be biotic or may be abiotic. From the environment, from the others, they can understand. Next, this slide shows the meaning. Constructivism means to construct of knowledge. Different psychologists had given different definition for the constructivism. Among them, there are two. Here it is mentioned. One is radical constructivist. According to Jean Piaget, he told us that students are small scientists. They construct knowledge by themselves. Second one is social constructivist. According to Lev Vygotsky, students construct knowledge by group work and social interaction. The three main studies of constructivism. Knowledge is physically constructed by learners who are involved in active learning. Physically means suppose we give a toy to a child, he will see the toy and he will understand about the toy. He can learn about the toy. Second one is knowledge is symbolically be constructed by learners. This is symbolical, means when a child comes to school, there in nursery some objects are shown to the children, and when they see this physically and symbolically, suppose a ball is given to a child, then he can understand what is ball, what is the shape, what is the size of the ball. In this way they can learn. Third one is knowledge is socially constructed by learners. When the students grow, when the child grows, they can learn from the society. They make friends, they interact with them, and they learn a lot from them. Here are 5 principles of constructivism. Students must be able to transfer learning, applying the learning to new situations, and feel free to change their views when appropriate. In this method, constructivism, students are free. They can acquire knowledge, they can change their views when appropriate. Learning should center around the concept. When we teach a student, the teaching learning is only not constricted to the school only. It is a learning method, is a lifelong method. So, one may learn to the whole lifetime. Learning should center around the concept. The instructor should continuously assess students' understanding of the essential concept. Third is, students' viewpoint should be valued. Teachers may change the instructional practice. They should work as a friend, philosopher and guide. They should not be so rigid to around the concept. In order to feed the cognitive development of the class, instead of rigidly sticking with the pre-planned agenda. Feedback should be not judgmental. Also, assessment should occur within the context. Regular assessment, regular evaluation should be taken from the student by the teachers, so that he can know how much they have understood the concept or lesson. Next, here are some characters of constructivism. Learning of constructed. Learning constructed on the previous knowledge of the student. Learning should be constructed on the basis of the previous knowledge of the student. Otherwise, they cannot learn. Learning is active. In the constructivism method, learning is learners are the actively participate. They are free. The environment should be democratic. They are free to think, to link their previous knowledge to the present knowledge, and through experiment, debate, group discussion, ask question, constructivist learning requires full participation of students. Third one is learning is reflective. Student, whatever they have learned, whatever they have understood, whatever the concept is clear to them, now they are able to reflect their previous knowledge through group discussion or during the learning process. Teachers should create such an environment that lead the student to reflect on this prior knowledge. So, we should encourage the student to be autonomous and responsible. So, and the prior knowledge impact the learning process in this way. Next, collaborative learning. In the constructivism method of learning, the constructivist classroom relies mostly on collaboration among students. The teacher must make the environment so that all the students can collaborate to each other. They can express their ideas, their thinking to each other. Collaborating with other students helps them to learn from the experience and knowledge of others. Next point is learning is inquiry based. Students use inquiry method like asking question, investigate a topic and use a variety of resources to find solution and acquire knowledge. They are now able to ask question according to the topic to clear their concept. Learning is evolving. Students' knowledge keep on changing according to the new knowledge. They are which acquire from experience and interaction. Next. So we can conclude by the previous slides, through the previous slides, that the 5 learning cycles the student pass through the 5 learning cycle, 5 effective learning cycle. Now they are engaged themselves in the teaching learning process actively as an active participant. They can explore new ideas, they can explore new thoughts, new emotions. When the concept is clear to them, then they can explain any concept. They can explain it to others and they can elaborate their thinking, their knowledge with some other method, by asking question, by any internet, etc. And they can now evaluate by assessing learning by themselves only, through their peer assessment or by themselves. This slide shows use of constructivism. Constructivism is a very good method, a very good theory, learning theory. Okay, here students enjoy learning from their own experience. As they are active learner, they can experience the free environment to get knowledge. They are not bonded to any other rule and regulation. Learning by doing help in learning for longer period. It remains in our mind lifelong. Through constructivism, whatever they have learned, this knowledge should be remain with them for a long period. Learning improves thinking, ability and understand rather than rote it. They can adjust themselves according to any environment. They can adjust, they can acquire knowledge by thinking and understanding. The fourth one is constructivism promotes social and communication skills. When through the constructivist classroom, when they interact with each other, their communication skill will be improved, and which promote collaboration and exchange of ideas. Through when their communication skill is improved, they can exchange their ideas and acquire new knowledge. In constructivism, students use various ways to express knowledge like journal, research, reports, model and other artistic representations. This helps in increasing the creativity and power to express ourselves in more creative ways. And the learning will be interesting as they can learn to create knowledge. By engaging more in real world context, student investigation skill increases. In constructivist classroom, they learn to ask more questions and express their curiosity to everyone. So, I think this PDF will help you to teach the learner, to know the learner. Thank you.